Hi guys, this is Cobra Tom.
And then I'm Lily.
And we are doing the Cobra Battle Barge. This is a 1988 vehicle. And well, I got one before, but it had a bunch of problems, stuff cracked, there was a cracked peg, stuff like that. So I decided that we needed a new one, and I bought a complete one. Here's the Battle Barge, and I'm going to show you some of the figures that I bought and some of the features of this toy. And one of the things I really like about this toy is just the aesthetics, just the way it looks. I think it just looks really, really cool. And I'm going to get out another figure to show you. I will show you the box in a moment and show you the figures that they have on them. These are not any 1988 figures, but here's an eel, and you can say with the gray and the red, this is more of a maroonish. If you're looking at him, it's a little more maroon, but you could say that it looks pretty good in here. And you could put the hands on, but don't put them in there because they break very easily. And I would never tell you to put those in there. I got, I believe this is an undertow from the 2005 line. And here is, and I know this is Snake Eyes, but I do not consider this Snake Eyes. I know that people do, and it really is Snake Eyes. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't ever consider him. To me, that's not Snake Eyes. To me, this is Snake Eyes, not that. So I like to put him in here, and there you go. Now, I'll get the gun out of the way here a little bit. Maybe you can see him a little better. And what it's supposed to be able to do when it's on water, I'm only guessing, but it's supposed to be able to float around, and you can use it. And this is supposed to be like a defense, a shoreline defense, where you can protect whatever, you know, on the coastline. And since Cobra is on an island, they would have, you know, Cobra base and all that stuff here, and this would be protecting the land from the water, from any kind of water attacks from G.I. Joe. Here is the box for the Cobra Battle Barge. And as you can see, it's got a Techno Viper, a Hydro Viper, and a Toxo Viper. I don't actually, well, I do have a Techno Viper, but I don't have a Toxo Viper, and I don't have a Hydro Viper. But this is what the box has. These are the figures that came out in 1988. But I think an eel actually looks better than the Hydro Viper on here. That's just my personal opinion, and you can say kind of that's determined, you know, you can decide that for yourself. So, but in my opinion, an eel looks better than the Hydro Viper or the Toxo Viper, and I'm not even sure why. Other than maybe, well, I know why. It's because that's the toy that came out that year. But I don't know why a Techno Viper would even be out there. He's not even a part of the Navy, so. And neither is a Toxo Viper, actually.
This toy, the Battle Barge, did not have any comic book appearances or any, like, think of it.
Yeah. This toy is in that weird range, the 1988, 87 and 88 range of figures. There's even some 89 figures that did not make any animated appearances or any comic book appearances, and it's kind of too bad because some of them are pretty cool. Like this could have been really used in the comics and cartoon because their base was on an island. They could have shown this fighting a battle against, you know, like devilfish and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it would have been kind of a cool little, thing to show on the cartoon and the comics. It fighting, all right, Big Boa, here you go. Their debut as a devilfish pilot. Fighting a devilfish. So that's pretty cool. But it never happened. Now here is, I actually was able to find it, and here is, well, take away the gun for a moment, a Taxo Viper. And quite honestly, now that he's in it, and now that you can kind of see it, I guess he doesn't look terrible in there. So maybe if you wanted to put one in there, I mean, obviously, this has, I mean, the box shows these characters, but you can put anybody you want in them. There's nobody that has to be in them. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the features that I like and kind of don't like. What I don't like is how big, even though I like the antenna dish and I think it looks cool, like with these ones, so far I haven't hit anybody, but I know if you have the Taxo Viper, it's definitely going to bang his head. And even just having the figures in there, moving this around, you're kind of banging into the figures and they're kind of hitting them, as you can kind of see. And that's, even though I like the dish and I think it looks actually really pretty cool, it's a pretty neat thing, it's kind of like a nuisance that it's hitting up against the figures. Now, if you had a figure, like I like to put with open-faced vehicles like this, where you can just put them in. I think a figure like Big Boa, with his bigger helmet and his bigger size. Now, if you have him like that, oh, he does clear. Oh my goodness, look at that though. Huh. I am actually surprised. And here's what often happens. I had to actually buy a new battle barge because I had one, and look what happened to my antenna. They were broken. I've seen a lot of them without the antenna because they, I don't know if the red plastic is cheap or what, but it seems to break often. And another thing I have seen that is a bit of a problem is the stable for the gun, the peg for the gun. I quite often see the peg that goes into it, into the hole, is good, but you get one like this where it cracks, and then you can no longer put the gun in it like this. Now the gun is supposed to be like this. It comes in and out, and that's what it's supposed to look like because it's got a C-clamp here. Oh, we can see that C-clamp there, and they just clamp in. But these clamps, for some reason, don't, I don't know, once again, I wonder if it's just the plastic or what, but this, I often see these broken. Another thing that can break, as you can see on my old one, the joystick's broken. But that is not just for the Battle Barge. That is a problem that happens to just about all G.I. Joe things if you're trying to put the hands on the peg. Now, just for simplicity's sake, I took the figures out because I wanted to show you something. They had these stickers. And they say Battle Barge with a Cobra symbol. And they go all around. But if you can see on my old one here, the stickers are not only not very good, but they don't even fit. They don't even fit into where they're supposed to go. So when I saw this one, and it didn't have any stickers, I thought that's good because now not only are they don't ever really fit anyway, I actually prefer not having symbols on there. Just, I mean, I don't mind the Cobra symbol and stuff, it looks good, but when it looks like this, I'd rather have it than blank. Now, there are 3 things that I think you can really do with this, and I'm going to set my new one aside, and I'm going to just show you, especially with a broken one. The play features that I think you could really do with this. I think, say you have an eel here, and you want him manning this thing, you can have the eel doing a couple of things. You can either have him controlling the gun with the joysticks, even though I don't recommend you putting the hands on the joystick. You can make it look like he is controlling the gun with the joysticks, and that the gun can, with the joysticks, you can have it go around, you know, and up and down. It's got a nice range of motion. For such a small little gun, it's got, I think it's got a nice range of motion. Another thing you can do to make it look maybe a little more dynamic is you can position them maybe holding the gun where they have to be a little bit up, and you know, you wouldn't necessarily have to have them, I don't really have them sitting here, but you can have them going higher and make it look like he's actually firing the gun and loading the gun. Or if worse comes to worse and something happens to your gun, even though it doesn't really fit in the hand, you can make this look plausible enough that he, for some reason, the joystick goes out or the hydraulics or something doesn't work for the gun, but he's still got to fend off G.I. Joe. Well, you can still put it in his hands and make it look believable enough that he can fire it. I think it's maybe, honestly, too big for a handheld weapon like that. But you know, using your imagination, playing and doing stuff like that. Say Big Bo is doing this side, but oh no, your joystick cracked, and you've got to fight. You still got to fight, and G.I. Joe's right on your hands. You can put the gun into his hand and still have him fighting off G.I. Joe. shooting those goody G.I. Joes. So I think that that's a play pattern that you can have. That's pretty cool. Go.
So this is the, what is it called?
The Cobra Battle Barge.
Okay, and it has, I think it looks like 3 seats to me.
Yeah.
And then the guns can swivel around all the way, which I think is pointless. I mean, if the other guy wants to shoot
Yeah, he
his
won't be able to do
teammate,
it.
I mean, he won't be able to, but he would have to jump out of the thing. Anyways.
Yep.
We have, to me, this kind of looks like where the fans would go if they get hot, but I mean, that's not what they're for.
Right. But that's kind of what it does look like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got some joysticks here. It's got some what looks like, I don't know what kind of detailing that is, but it's got some cool detailing, I think. And on the bottom, I know you would think, well, it's got all these holes, so how would it float? But I think because of these things, it displaces the water just enough that it floats and that it kind of is able to work. I don't really, I'm not very good with this kind of stuff, but I do know that it does float. Well, next I'll show you the back of the box. So here's the back of the box. And do you want to read some of these here? You kind of talked about it, but...
So there's the control panel, the rotating radar dish, sturdy construction.
Sturdy construction for rugged play, yep.
Oh.
It just means that it won't break on you, but sometimes they do.
The
3 pivoting.
Oh, 3 pivoting laser guns, and it floats.
Yep, it says it floats. Now, it's...
Super realistic detail.
Super realistic detail. I've never seen a battle barge, so I don't know what the realistic details are, but, you know, that's kind of cool. And I'm trying to look here. This is actually, well, not if on the toy, it was the actual size. So, and it says seating for 3 figures and contains radar dish, laser gun, G.I. Joe folder, label sheet, and instructions and blueprint. Now, I can't find it here, but I do know, and I think it might be on the instruction sheet, which I do not have, that says it must have 3 figures in it to float, but I don't think that that's true. I think it floats even without any. Well, that's our review. We have more coming up. Next week's is the finale for our kind of Navy theme month. Then after that, Lily wants to start doing some of our own custom JoeCon figures. And I think that's a really cool idea. So I think the next, after the Moray, I think that's what we're going to start doing, is doing our own G.I. Joe custom figures. So that sounds like a cool idea. Sounds like fun. Mm-hmm. She'd be a little more excited into it, I think, because she hasn't been very excited in this the last couple weeks because she didn't know much about it. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we will
see you next time.